fun. Philippine Islands. It's more fun in the Philippines. In the Philippines. Philippine Islands. In the Philippines.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to International Prop Chat. My name is Sue Wong, your international property consultant and your host of today. On behalf of IQI Global, I would like to welcome you. Thank you for tuning in to our program. This program features various international projects, various global investment criteria, and also investment opportunities all over the world. And so do join us every Wednesday at 3 p.m. And today we are so privileged to have Mr. Andrew Venturina, Managing Director and Country Head of IQI Philippines, to share with us. And he is to kickstart our property highlights for Philippines in the month of June. Yeah. So today he will share with us 8 reasons why you should invest in the Philippines. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Sue. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to all the viewers of IQI International Property Talk. It's nice to be back.
Yes, it's been a long time.
Right.
We're so privileged for you to be back to share with us on the good reasons, 8 reasons why we should invest in Philippines. And thank you so much also for preparing the video for us so that we can see it clearly and with all the sound effect and all the music's background. Yeah, so we're so thankful. So first, the program will run such that we will play your video first, and then after that, we will go straight to a Q&A session later. Okay? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to IQI International Property Talk. And today we are very happy and very glad that we will be the one to be featured this month in Property Talk of IQI International. So thank you, Mandy, for having us, and we hope that this time you'll be able to learn more about Philippines and why we are actually one of the preferred location for investment. Alright, today what I'm going to do is that I'm going to talk about the 8 reasons why you should be investing in the Philippines. The first reason why you should be investing in the Philippines is that the Philippines is an archipelago composed of 7,107 islands, and we are situated or flanked between the Pacific Ocean and South China Sea, which is the major trade routes in Southeast Asia, and not just in Southeast Asia, but in the world. And this makes the Philippines as an ideal entry point, not just in Asian countries, but all over the world. So we are actually poised to be the gateway for the international shipping and airlines as well. And when it comes to natural resources, we're actually number 3 when it comes to copper production, and actually one of the top 10 in producing gold all over the world. And when it comes to other minerals like gold, copper, tin, we're actually more dense or minerally more dense than Australia. And since we are composed of 7,107 islands, alright, that means that we have more areas for development. May it be residential, resort, commercial, or industrial. We're actually the ideal location for development in Southeast Asia. We are also part of the 5 ASEAN developing countries. And that is the reason why you should also invest in the Philippines. And now we're moving on to the second reason why you should be investing in the Philippines. And that is the consistent economic growth. And in the last 10 years, we're actually identified as the fastest growing economy in Southeast Asia, with a consistent growth, a GDP growth of 6.3. This year, we were able to take note of the 8.3 growth in the second quarter of 2020. And according to Fitch Rating, Banco Central, and other financial institutions, that we are actually expecting to reach 6.3 to 6.7% growth at the end of the year. And one of the key drivers for our economic, our overseas Filipino workers, which is more or less around 2.8 billion dispersed all over the world. And when it comes to remittances from all the OFWs, we are actually third in the world when it comes to the largest remittances that we receive. And that drives more money into the country, and that enables the Filipinos here, their family, to raise up from the current situation to becoming middle class. And when it comes to that, that means that they have more purchasing power. Now you'll see more people buying properties, investing in properties, because they totally understand that buying properties is actually one of the ways to actually build your wealth. Then another reason why economically it's better to invest in the Philippines is that there's a lower inflation rate here compared to the other Asian countries. During the financial crisis in 1997 and 2008, we have noted a 5.7% and 6.9% inflation respectively. The third reason why you should be investing in the Philippines is that more infrastructures and connectivity. Being an archipelago and composed of 7,107 islands, there is a challenge on connectivity when it comes to moving from one area to another. But in the last 20 years, through the Build project of the government, we were able to build a lot of bridges that connect one location to another. At the same time, we also have a lot of international players now when it comes to telecommunication and internet. In the next 5 years, the Philippines will have at least 3 major airports here in Luzon that will enable us to become the international gateway for trade. Alright, and here in Metro Manila, we're very excited as the Mega Manila subway system has been put into place already. By 2024 or 2025, we're expecting that this Mega Manila subway system will connect 5 cities in Metro Manila. Alright, so our system for transportation will become easier for most of the people. Speaking of connectivity, we're very excited that 5 major players that are internationally known are going to provide their services to the country. We have Delnet, Ditto, Bell, and at the same time, Starlink is going to provide their service to the country. More international players means that a lot of multi-million companies are actually seeing the opportunity in the Philippines. And that is also the main reason or the main demand drivers for real estate, which is our 4th reason why you should be investing in the Philippines. And with my 12 years of experience as a real estate professional, I have seen Coca-Cola, Facebook, Google, and other multinational companies having or putting up their office here in the Philippines. And with that, we can see the trust and the confidence on the Philippine market. The last 20 years, we have seen how knowledge process outsourcing, business process outsourcing have grown or flourished here in the Philippines. We are actually number 1 when it comes to providing the services to KPO and BPO companies. And in 2016, we have also noted the rise of the Philippine offshore gaming operations. Okay, and they were able to lease out buildings after buildings at that time. So that shows you the high demand for real estate in the Philippines. And of course, as there are high demands for offices, then of course that drives also the demand for residential. And we have seen in the last 15 years how international market are buying properties here. And here are the top 10 international investors that we have noted in the last 15 years. Last year, we have noted that during the pandemic, amidst the lockdown, we have another industry that is booming, and that is the logistics and e-commerce. Even there is a lockdown, there are a lot of e-commerce and logistics companies that are renting out warehouses and more spaces for their business. So again, regardless if it's pandemic or whatever is a challenging situation right now, there will always be another segment of the industry that will be booming. Alright, and there is always a high demand for real estate because we all need to live, we all need to work. Alright, and real estate is the foundation of wealth, as what most of the investors say. By the way, you might be wondering where we are. We're actually here in the showroom of the Seasons Residences, one of the projects that we are actually selling. And right now, we are already on our 4th tower. Alright, so earlier we mentioned about the high demand, right? And you might be asking why a lot of foreign investors are seeking properties in the Philippines. Okay, now we're moving to the 5th reason why you should be investing in the Philippines: high rental yield and appreciation. Alright, so let's go. In the last 6 years, we have noted a 6.30% rental yield. We're actually second in Asia when it comes to that, overtaking the other Asian countries right next to Indonesia. 2019, we have noted the highest rental yield in major central business districts such as Makati, BGC, Ortigas, and Bay Area, which is 8% to 9%. Now, moving on to the property appreciation or capital appreciation. So what does it mean? That means that your money has more potential to grow if you invest in real estate. Like for example, for this one, if we have sold a 1-bedroom unit in 2013, if you bought a property similar to this gorgeous unit in TSR in 2013 at 7 million, most probably that your property is already at around 15 to 16 million today. And that has doubled. And that is backed up by historical data. In 2019, we have noted also the highest property appreciation of 29.1%. Alright, and in the past years, we have noted an average of 13 to 24% growth in your property value. 29.1% property appreciation in 2019 is actually crazy, right? But of course, you might be asking, but what happened during the pandemic? In 2021, we have noted a 3.2% growth amidst the pandemic. And in 2022, we're expecting around 16.9% growth amidst all this crisis. There's more growth when you invest in the Philippines. Alright, with the lower inflation rate and with the high capital appreciation, that is actually a hot spot or sweet spot for all the investors. And going back to rental, in 2021, we have noted a 1.9% growth in rental yield. And in 2022, we are actually projecting around 13.2% increase in rental. Right? As we know, in 2020, there was a decline for demand, hence the rental also went down. But of course, we're all getting out of this pandemic and there's more potential for growth moving forward. Moving on to the sixth reason why you should be investing in the Philippines: new exciting townships and flexible payment terms. We are actually here in the Seasons Residences showroom, which is situated in one of the major townships here in Bonifacio Global City, the Grand Central Park. Alright? So as you can see, there are a lot of new areas outside Metro Manila and even inside Metro Manila that are being developed as a mixed-use development that can be the new small cities inside the city. Alright, and the idea is for people to work, live, and play. So now that the Metro Manila was so congested, we're trying to decentralize Metro Manila and build new opportunities. And what does it mean? That means that there will be new areas for development or growth that is cheaper when it comes to investment, but has still the same capital appreciation. So this is the project of the Seasons Residences, composed of 4 towers and of course the luxurious amenities, and you also have the mall on the first 3rd floors. And speaking of flexible payment terms, there are a lot of exciting payment terms that are very affordable for a lot of investors. We have the 5% down payment, 0 down payment, and then 20% spread out for 36 months or more, depending on how long will the project be turned over. Now, if you would like to know more about the flexible payment terms, that will be discussed on a separate presentation or episode of this IPI Property Talk. And the reason why there are a lot of townships that are being developed right now is for people to be able to live, work, and play. It's basically an integration of all the things that we do as a human being and making sure that there will be comfort and convenience. So imagine yourself living in one of the towers of the Seasons Residences, and 50 meters away, you already have your office in front of you. Or you have the shopping centers underneath your tower. Or you have the schools of your children like 500 meters away or maybe 2 kilometers away. That's very convenient, right? And that is basically the dream lifestyle that we are looking for. And speaking of lifestyle, that is also the 7th reason why you should be investing in the Philippines. Alright? And that is the 7th reason why you should be investing in the Philippines. Because the Philippines is the perfect place for you to work, live, and play. One reason is that we have a lower cost of living compared to the ASEAN countries. So that means that your money here has more value and you can actually have more in the Philippines by a certain amount of money. The first reason why it is a perfect place for you to live, work, and play is the lower cost of living. If you're going to compare the food and anything else here in the Philippines compared to the other ASEAN countries, we are basically cheaper, right? So there's more value in the money that we have. Alright, moving on, the second reason why is the business opportunities. As you know, there are more international or foreign entities that are investing in the Philippines, and you can also work here as a foreign national, depending on which industry you are in. Another reason is the access to travel destinations. Since we are an archipelago and we have a lot of beautiful islands here that you can explore, you can actually go there via a 1-hour flight, or you can actually drive to Batangas or to Subic for 3 hours. that gives you a sort of a well-balanced lifestyle. Of course, after working 8 hours or 10 hours in your office for 6 days or 5 days, you would want to actually unwind and spend more time with your family and with your friends. And that makes the Philippines as a paradise. Another reason why the Philippines is the perfect place for you to live, work, and play is the safe, convenient, and very friendly environment. For sure, if you have been to the Philippines, you can always attest to that. That as you arrive in the airport, a lot of people will be welcoming you warmly in the airport, wishing you that you will have a great stay wherever you are going. All right, and that is actually how warm and hospitable the Filipinos are. I truly believe that the Philippines is the most livable country in the world. With our warm and friendly people, very vibrant and rich culture, I would say that it is more fun to live in the Philippines. If you are going to put up a business, of course, this is the best area for you also to procure people or manpower because of our pool of talented individuals who can actually speak English as well. So if you are an international entity who would like to put up your company here, I mean, don't worry about the pool of people that you can actually get. And of course, as you do your business or as you live in an area, you don't want to work with not so warm and not so fun people. But I would say Filipinos are very warm, friendly, and very easy to work with. And as you get to live here in the Philippines, you would understand, you would see, and you would feel that Filipinos are imbibing the work, live, and play. We definitely know how to balance things out, which makes also the Philippines as the best location for you to retire. A lot of Americans, Chinese, Koreans, Japanese are actually retiring here in the Philippines. Now, if you would like to know more about the retirement visa, yes, you have heard it right. There is a retirement visa that is open for 35 years old and above, and you can actually use a property as your deposit. Alright, if you would like to know more about that, we will discuss that definitely on another session. I think that will be on the seventh session of this International Property Talk. So if you want to know more about the Philippines, if you want to know more about the projects, then please tune in for the entire month of June, and we'll be able to share with you more information and more interesting insights. Thank you and goodbye.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Andrew. So thank you so much for the very informative video, and so lovely to see all the different places and the island scenes on the video, and really inspire us to travel again.
Yes, yes, definitely. Philippines is a destination to travel and explore. It's not just about the city. It's more
Hmm.
of like the natural resources that we have here, like the beaches, the mountains, etc. There's a lot of things to explore here, definitely.
Definitely. Okay. Well, with your very with this your starting this month for Philippines, I would like to ask you about how is Philippines doing after we had 2 years of lockdown since, and every country is basically there was no traveling and all. And I see that now many countries are gradually easing the travel restriction, and I believe so is Philippines as well. So what do you see in the property market that is exciting from this point onwards?
Right. So right now, there's a lot of expatriates or foreign nationals coming back to the Philippines and opening up their business. Again, in 2019, it was really a very hot market for the Philippines. Like a lot of international companies are really planning to move here. It's just like in 2020, it got a halt and it was actually set aside for a while. But then
Yes.
after that, once the border opened, most of them started going back here and starting their business, and we have seen that in our rental inquiries. Like it feels like 2019 again. like having a lot of rental inquiries for bigger properties in the CBDs, in Bonifacio Global City, in Makati. So that means that the demand is again getting back to normal. There's a high demand for properties again. And when it comes to secondary market, there's a lot of Chinese clients actually who are seeking the high-end properties together with the high net worth individuals or locals based here in the Philippines. So I would say that the market is back. And I think now people are crazy on buying and spending it on properties that they really want to buy.
Yes. We also see similar situation in KL. Like the market is getting really active again. We see like more people coming in, more inquiries coming in, and we believe that Philippines is it's climbing, going up again the real estate market. That's why we have arranged for this whole month to focus mainly in Philippine
Yes.
real estate. Yeah. Okay. I'm really impressed with the high rental yield and capital appreciation. So, in your sharing, like in your experience, like which area in particular you have seen like a drastic changes in capital appreciation in the past years? Mm.
Yeah, in 2016, we have noted the increase in capital value in
Mm.
Bonifacio Global City, in Makati, and also
Mm.
in Ortigas area. But
Mm.
right now, there are new areas like any property along C5 in Pasig City, in Mandaluyong. Those are
Mm.
actually another locations that you can consider as
Mm.
they are being developed right now. There are new projects that are being built by
Mm.
different developers, and
Mm.
that means that there will be more capital appreciation in those areas, and that is the same area where the Mega Manila subway system will be at. So anything that is linked to the Mega Manila subway, for sure, the value will go up.
Okay, we can really see that how the infrastructure change and then brings a transformation of that area in
Yes.
different
Yeah.
part of cities, right? Yeah.
We're actually very excited. Like what I'm telling our colleagues in IQI Philippines, that we are very excited in the next 20 years, because
Mm.
definitely Manila will be transformed.
Mm.
It's been a while since we really had a very aggressive infrastructure projects.
Mm.
But right now, I think we are in the right track,
Mm.
and we're looking forward, at least in the next 5 years, to see more vibrant and, I would say, helpful infrastructures. And like what I said earlier in my presentation, international players like Starlink are here now to build the telecommunication,
Mm.
and to level up the game in telecommunication internet. That means
Mm.
a lot to us, to Filipinos. So we're
Okay.
really excited about the next coming years for Philippines.
Okay. Yes, definitely. So, I know that you will be because this month is of we will focus in Philippines. But
Yes.
would you be able to like for the benefits of our audience? Would you be able to kind of briefly go through like how would a foreigner come to invest in the Philippine properties?
Right. Yeah. For foreigners, definitely we cannot own a lot or land unless you have a corporation here in the Philippines that can actually own that particular property. All right.
Mm.
Or you are married to a Filipina or a Filipino. All right. But that is an option, definitely. But as a foreigner, you can own a condominium property. All
Mm.
right. And normally we have a 40% cap on the foreign and local ratio of ownership. And
Mm.
then, of course, if you would like to buy a property here, you can also avail the SRRV, all right, or the Special Retirement Visa for foreigners. I think during the pandemic, they have amended some of the protocols that they have for the program, but definitely we will be sharing that with you in one of the episodes in this coming days.
Yeah, that remains a very interesting option, I think, for many of the foreigners that's looking
Right.
to hold a residency or maybe a visa in another country, right? Because that comes with the ease of traveling and everything as well. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Based on our experience, like there are a lot of Koreans here, Chinese and Japanese, even Americans who are actually availing that visa. And you can
Mm.
see that their kids are studying in the international schools, or they are actually working here already or setting up their businesses.
Mm.
Because some people really find the Philippines to be a very convenient and comfortable area to live, especially that For education, for example, it's very cheap compared to the other Asian countries. And not to mention the quality also that you get when with the amount that you're paying. We have a lot of international schools in the area, and of course, it's it's easier for you to put up a business as a foreigner here, especially for food, for restaurants. It's actually easy.
Okay. So with the travel restriction being easing out, how is the situation in Philippines now? Like, are you able to freely venture into anywhere right now, just like us?
Yes, not so strict anymore. I think people right now are so used to wearing masks, but
Mm.
you can see a lot of restaurants that are full. Like you cannot actually book a you cannot book a table by just walking in. You have to call at least a week before to book
Mm.
those good restaurants, and
Yes.
even the clubs are now open.
Oh,
Like it feels like it's back to normal.
okay. Okay, that's good to hear because the retailers really, really suffer for the last 2 years. It's good to
Yes, yes,
to
yeah,
bring back all these businesses again, so that businesses can sustain and thrive. Yeah. Okay.
right, yeah.
Okay, Andrew, can you share with me, who are the main investors that you see, like mainly from what kind of countries, which countries they come from, and then their usually what is the purpose for them to seek a residency or a property in Philippines?
Right, yeah. Well, top of our list is actually Chinese investors. So
Hmm.
right now there are two kinds of Chinese investors here. Those Chinese who have been in the country and doing business here, they're actually investing on the high-end market. Like
Okay.
we're talking about 150 square meters to 300 square meters property in the main central business districts. And then we also have those Chinese who are actually investing into smaller properties, but multiple properties in the area, and they're trying to sell it to their co-invest or another investor in China. Because well, for whatever reason, like Chinese needs someone from China or another Chinese to show them how it is, what's the lifestyle in this area, and what's gonna happen with your property. And I think that's why they're number one right now when it comes to demand
Mm.
drivers. Second is we have the Koreans also. Like a lot of Koreans are moving here and putting up their own businesses, and a lot
Mm.
of them also most of their kids are studying in the international school.
Mm.
Third on the list are Japanese. A
Mm.
lot of Japanese are also moving here. Fourth on the list are Americans.
Mm.
And then fifth is actually Australians.
Okay, okay. It's interesting how, like you say, the Chinese are there are two groups. Like some of them seek the luxurious, and some of them seek
Right.
the middle range, right? In your opinion, right? Which kind of property actually brings the most its rental yield and makes the best investment?
Right. Well, I would always say the luxury market. It is actually supported by what happened during the pandemic. Like
Mm.
during 2020, even there's a lockdown, there's still a
Mm.
demand for the luxury properties in the area. Because
Mm.
again, who suffered during the pandemic are those people that belong to the mid market and below, right? But
Okay.
the luxury ones or the upper mid and the high end market, they're not
Mm.
really suffering. They have more money in the bank to invest and grow, right?
Okay.
So I think that is the market that did not suffer, and that also gives higher rental yield because right now you can always demand for a higher rent amidst the
Okay.
pandemic, especially for the luxury market.
Okay. So for the luxury market, who are the main tenants? Is it from local or from aspect community as well?
Yeah, majority are actually from the embassies, from foreign nationals, definitely, from multinational companies who have businesses here in the
Mm.
country.
Okay. 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 Yeah. Okay. So other than that, right? For an investor, when they go into Philippines, what kind of a cost would they need to be aware of when they buy into Philippines?
Right. Of course, normally, other than the property itself, the cost for payment for that, then you have
Mm.
to pay some taxes, which is normally it's being included already in the
Mm.
property that you're purchasing, and then
Mm.
right after that, upon turnover, there's a certain 6.6% of
Mm.
the admin fee we're in for the installation of the electricity, etc., and all the documentation.
Okay.
And then if you would like to sell your property afterwards, after the turnover, then definitely there will be a capital gain tax for the property, and
Mm.
then of course you have to pay the professional fee of the brokers. But on the buyer side, there will be the documentary stamp tax, the standard taxes,
Mm. Mm.
registration fee, and
Mm.
transfer tax as well.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I'm sure in one of our upcoming videos, you will talk in more details. So audience, if you are interested to find out a bit more details, please stay tuned to our upcoming videos because we have planned a series of programs and videos for this month of June. It will be on Wednesday and Saturday. So please, do watch this space and keep in touch with the IQI International Sales to watch the highlight on real estate programs on the Philippines. Yeah. So I think that will be all my question today, Andrew. I really want to thank you for
Thank you also.
thank you for your presentation. Thank you for making a video for us. And thank you for highlighting the reasons why we should all look into the Philippines as the investment, real estate investment opportunity. And yeah. So for our audience, thank you for tuning in. And if you have missed any of our videos, please watch the replay on IQI International Sales Facebook page and our YouTube of the same title, IQI International Sales. And just like what we shared, we have lined up a series of good sharing about Philippines real estate related topics in the month of June. And watch this space for more in-depth information. And so do support us by sharing our program to your friends and family. And meanwhile, stay safe and thank you. I'm Su Wong. I'm signing off now. Bye, Andrew.
Bye bye.